Feels like I'm doing weekly updates at this point about Sheffield Wednesday, and these updates are almost always negative. And don't worry, this one very much is negative overall. There is one shining little glimmer of hope in this, and I'll get that out of the way straight away. There has been a bit of positive news when it comes to Wednesday, because Barry Bannon, their captain, their long-time player, he's played with the club for like 10 years now at this point. He had still been training with the club, but he hadn't had a contract. He still didn't have a contract with the club for quite some time. Was still there, still working hard, still presumably keeping morale up and everything like that, you know, being a leader out on the training pitch. He's sealed a new deal now. That's very positive. That's a very good thing for the club, because he's been one of their best players for the last decade or so. He's a real leader, a real symbol at that club. He's got like 450 appearances or something like that for the Owls, which for someone who came to that club relatively late in their career, you know, that really is something. So fair play to the guy. Presumably he's signed on for a maximum of £7,000 a week, which is, you know, still quite a lot of money. I won't turn it down personally, but I would very heavily wager that that is not what he was on before. I reckon that is a decent pay cut from what he was on last year. He was probably on closer to triple that, at least, at the club before. But anyway, that's a positive thing. Plenty of negative things though. The EFL has been very concerned about the finances and the situation about Sheffield Wednesday. They've publicly stated this now, and there is genuine talk about their opening game of the season against Leicester City being called off because the players are considering going on strike. And that's the main topic of this video, really, guys. That's the main kind of change that's happened in the last week or so when it comes to Wednesday. Obviously, League 1 and League 2 in the EFL, they got underway last weekend, just gone. This weekend, the Championship gets underway, and Sheffield Wednesday, they have their opening match of the season against Leicester City on Sunday evening. 4:30pm kickoff time. Will it go ahead? Honestly, it is really in the balance, and I genuinely mean that. It really is in the balance, and a lot has to happen when it comes to the players, the wages, the salaries of everybody involved with the club, because the players have taken the decision to make a joint statement, a collective statement from all the players, basically saying, unless things change for the better, we are going to strike. And this is not something that is a hollow threat. I do believe they would do this because they've already done it, albeit for a friendly game. They were meant to play against Burnley the other day, but they didn't. The game was called off because the players refused to play. Some of them have not been paid. Even the ones that have been paid probably haven't been paid in the past as well. And as a collective, as a group, they have basically said, no, we are not going to play for the club unless we are paid properly, as are all the staff around the club as well. Let me just read out the actual statement from them, guys. So, BBC Radio Sheffield, the local radio station in this part of South Yorkshire, basically came out and said, look, we've seen this statement for the players. This is what they are saying. This is what they reportedly are demanding. And I quote, as has been well publicised, players, coaching staff and club staff groups at the club have all been impacted by delayed and overdue payments of salaries. This has been a worrying time for us players, but whilst we are often the ones in the spotlight, we are not the only ones involved. We stand together in support with all our colleagues employed by the club who have been affected. Players and staff are now feeling real practical impacts in their professional and personal lives, and we are extremely concerned at the lack of clarity regarding what is happening and when this will be resolved. The decision taken by the players to withdraw from the planned friendly with Burnley was not taken lightly or without consideration. We are fully aware of the added concerns this will of course support us, but trust there is a real understanding of the difficult position we have been put in. We want to reassure fans that there has not been and will not be any downing of tools by any of us on the training ground, and we are all working as hard as we can supporting each other, the manager and staff. However, we, like you, want our focus to fully be on what happens on the pitch and the new season ahead. This is proving to be really challenging, and we have made it clear to the club that we want this situation to be addressed as soon as possible, so decisions like the one not to play against Burnley are avoided in the future. We can then all move forward together as a club. I think that's absolutely fair. I think that is very eloquently put, and I am totally supporting them with that. And I think most Wednesday fans would probably do the same. In fact, pretty much all of them, I imagine, at this point. It's a real horrible situation. They don't want to be seen to be letting the fans down or anything like that, but It's not just about them. They obviously have contracts, they deserve to be paid, but like I've said, and like they have said here as well, so many times it is about the coaches, it is about the bar staff, the groundsmen, the caterers, the people in the ticket office, everybody, right? There's hundreds of people employed by that football club, and most of them are living paycheck to paycheck, and seeing them not get paid for their hard work is just downright unacceptable in any walk of life, especially for a club that is owned by a man who is part of a family that is worth billions, not millions, billions. They have the money, they just don't want to spend it. I'm not saying his family should go bailing him out. Defon Chansiri has made his bed, he has to sleep in it, but right now at the moment he's absolutely sleeping on the club. He's not really doing anything to help, so we will see how things evolve, guys. Remember, I saw an interview excerpt as well from Max Lowe, one of the players at Sheffield Wednesday, one of the few remaining players, basically saying, look, you know, if you don't laugh, you're going to cry. So right now we're laughing, you know, they're trying to make the best of this situation, and it's a really, really horrible one for everybody involved. There is honestly a genuine chance that the first game of the season for them will not be played. And, you know, with everything coming out of the club, I don't blame them. I really don't blame the players at all, because if they don't have the players, if the players aren't going to travel down, then how are they going to play the match? And on that as well, they're not travelling down together. I don't think I've mentioned this before. They're not travelling down together. They're not going down in a team bus, staying in a hotel overnight, or whatever the plan would be normally to go for an away day in Leicester. No, they have to get their own way there. They have to buy their own accommodation, which, again, they can afford. Don't get me wrong, they can afford it. But still, it's absolutely horrible, and some players of the club, of course, are not being paid. Some people are saying, oh, well, what's wrong with working away in Leicester? What about travelling engineers? What about people who travel for work and stuff like that? Why is it any different for footballers? Well, the difference is, right, I like to think in your day job, you get paid for your work. These guys aren't, or at least some of them aren't anyway. So, yeah, an absolutely crazy situation that doesn't really show many signs of getting better, and the clock is ticking. I'm recording this on the night of the 4th of August, which is the same night that statement was released. You'll be watching this on the 5th of August or after, so less than a week right now. You know, 5 days by the time that you view this. That's how long they have. And if they don't fulfill their requirement to, you know, play that first match of the season against Leicester, and I'm presuming as well, it's a televised match given that it's on a Sunday evening too. There's no Premier League, so I assume that that game is going to be televised live in the UK and beyond. Sheffield Wednesday are going to be in serious, serious trouble for that. They're going to be fined to high heaven. They are going to get all kinds of points deductions, because if there's one thing, if we're thinking incredibly cynically about the EFL, about the FA in England, if there's one thing they care about, it's how they appear on telly. When these games are televised live, abandoning a game or getting a game postponed because it was meant to be live on television, that will get them in serious trouble. The EFL does not stand for that. That would just not... That'd never happen. That never happens. I can't think of another time when this has happened, genuinely. Games get postponed, games get abandoned because of weather and fixture congestion, stuff like that, right? It can happen. It can happen, but I can't think of a time when this has happened this high up in the second tier of English football or above, because a team literally doesn't have enough players. Outside of the pandemic, obviously, crazy times, the pingdemic as some people called it, you know, that wasn't really the club's fault, that was government regulation. Guys, get your predictions in the comments below. It sounds a bit morbid, so it might sound a bit disrespectful, and I apologise if it does, but will the game happen? It's a genuine question right now. Will it happen, will it not? Also, one last thing. Quick mention for Morecambe. As I record this on the 4th of August, it looks as though the club may well die. They may well not make it any further. Basically, they reportedly have run out of money, and if they don't get a sale through tonight by midnight as I record this, it may well be the case that Morecambe, unfortunately, cease to exist, which is a tragic, tragic shame, and one that's totally avoidable. Absolutely avoidable, but yeah. Thoughts on all this in the comments below, guys. I appreciate all the support on these videos, and yeah, we'll see you soon for hopefully some more uplifting news in the world of football.